Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Rick Ritter, here kicking it with head football coach Isaac Collins. And today is the most exciting show of the season as we're coming off a huge win this past Saturday where we knocked off the Delaware Valley Aggies and we got the Keystone Cup with us today. Plus, we'll be bringing on the players of the game from that big win and along with our special guest coach of the day as well. Coach Collins, how you doing? Are you feeling as unbelievable as I am right now?
Oh, the blood's still rippling from that game.
It was a heck of a weekend, wasn't it?
Amazing weekend. Great for the program, great for the kids.
It really was. It was great, Coach. Now, Coach, we can't put into words how big of a win that was, knocking off the 8th team in the country on Saturday, Delaware Valley. No better way to end the season than winning the Keystone Cup. Talk about how we ended the season with back-to-back wins against two top teams in the MAC and finished 5-5.
Well, I think it all goes back to where this thing started. We just talked about the process. I think in each of those games, we knew what was in front of us. We know we were playing against a great football team, but we stayed the course. We talked all year about swinging the axe and the tree will fall. And I think certainly in the Del Val game, it was really neat to see us. We fell behind late in the game. No one gave up. No one quit. Everyone stayed focused. Everyone kept going, and the execution at the end of that game is the best by far all season. We
definitely battled through some adversity to come up with that big win. Now, before we get into those highlights from Saturday, I want to introduce our special guest coach that we have with us today. This is his second time back on the show. First year assistant linebackers coach Mark Lordi. Coach Lordi, how you doing today? We appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk with us.
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Now, Coach, before we get into the highlights, this is your second time back on the show, as I just mentioned. Talk about what you've learned throughout the season being around Coach Collins and the other guys on the staff.
I can't even begin to put into words how much I've learned. I mean, just everything from how to run a program, how much, time goes into getting things ready just for one practice. I mean, I learned how to break down film on opponents. I've learned how to draw up scout cards. I've learned how to coach our guys. And, it's just, it's been a wonderful experience for me. And I've increased, my knowledge exponentially just by being here, learning under Coach Collins, under Coach Fett and Coach Brzezinski and Coach Williams. We've all kind of, brushed off on each other. It's been outstanding for me.
Now, you're the youngest coach on the staff, so it's kind of like having another player around us players ourselves. Can you talk about some of the relationships that you've made with us guys over the course of this season?
Yeah, I mean, I was in your shoes, this time last year, so I know just as well, if not better than anybody else on staff, what it's like, to be, a senior or be, a player on a college team. And I had a great time with the guys this year, especially, being in meetings with the linebackers. And every time I would walk in and they knew I was running the meeting by myself, that they were going to get Coach Lord out of laugh before we even put on the film. So it's been a lot of fun. And I like to think that I was there for a lot of guys who felt that, maybe they couldn't talk to another coach about something, so they came to me. So it was, it was a good experience for me.
That's definitely good to have around us guys. Now, what was going through your mind on Saturday during that crazy game, and especially at the end when we scored that game-winning touchdown and then the 2-point conversion to win the game? What were your thoughts about that?
Well, my heart was definitely racing, and I was nervous, but I was comforted by the fact that when I looked over to my left and I saw, Coach Miller and I saw Coach Jenkins, just how calm they were in the face of everything that was happening, and it gave me confidence. And I had faith, from the beginning that we had, what it took to win that game. And like I said, just looking over, seeing them, looking on the sideline and seeing none of the coaches, on the offense, getting freaked out. They were all just collected and they knew what they were going to run. And that was a comforting feeling for me. And once I saw their faces, I knew we were going to do it.
Now, this season's in the books, but what are some of the memorable moments and experiences that you're going to carry with you towards next season? Because I know you're planning on coming back and coaching one more year here.
Yeah, well, there's a lot. There are a lot of experiences this year. I think the two things that I'm going to carry with me, well, first of all, would be my first win as a college coach, the first, shutout, that this program's had in, I think, 6 years or so. So that was good. But the thing I'm going to carry with me is running down into the field after we won the game on Saturday, getting the Keystone Cup home, and looking in the face of you guys, just seeing the seniors that, that was their last game. That was the last time they're ever going to put the pads on. And I think that's going to be, part of my motivation for the rest of my career of just, my roommate is Coach Owens, and he said something to my father on Saturday after the game that, most people when they leave the game, they don't get to have this feeling anymore. And I was a part of, being able to let other people have that feeling. And I know that's going to stick with me for the rest of my career and the rest of my life. It was just an unbelievable feeling, being able to look in the faces of those seniors and see that, that's going to be their memory of their college experience, was beating Del Val with no time left on the clock and bringing the Keystone Cup home to Chester.
No doubt it was an unbelievable feeling, not only for us players and us seniors, but you coaches as well, all the hard work that everybody put into this year, and to see that pay off and bring home the Keystone Cup. Coach Lord, we appreciate you coming on and taking the time to join us today. And we thank you for everything that you did for us this season. It really means a lot to us. Thanks, Coach.
No problem. Thank you, Rick.